Hello, guys. Welcome to Drinks and Mics. My name is Ugo Dre, and I have here with me my two fellow drinkers.
Hey.
To my right is Oga.
Tunji Andrews. He says drinkers like. Yeah, Tunji.
They call it Omoti. Have you had Omoti?
So that's the thing, right? I'm not. I enjoy the fine whiskey. I enjoy the fine wine, but drinker is
a big word.
Is a big word.
Yes.
Anyway, to my left is, of course, my fellow drinker. Arnold.
Do I accept that as well, or do I act
That's
you say,
I'm hoping that
I'm not sure
you're real to yourself.
If I want to be called a real drinker. I like my whiskey. I love gin. I can have gin any time of the day. But but I want to call myself a drinker.
Any time of the day.
Anyway, I think we should cut that out. I think we should edit that. I only have gin at night on Fridays. Friday and Saturday nights.
Anyway, so anyway, they are my fellow drinkers, guys. So, and that's what matters. And but let's just introduce ourselves more, properly, because people have asked me like, what does Arnold do? So,
okay.
So what does Arnold do?
I'm Arnold Dublin Green. I'm an investment manager, chief investment officer of Quadros. I've been doing this for about 16, 17 years.
Hey. And of course, I don't know, a lot of you guys know Tunji Andrews from his firewall, so I don't know whether you know what he does now. He's a big...
All right, my name is Tunji Andrews. I lead a team at our bar. I basically have been doing the work of financial inclusion for a little over a decade, just trying to make sure that every Nigerian has access to financial services.
Of course, I'm the CEO of Naira Metrics. All right, so this is our first drinks and mics for 2025, and we've got a whole wide range of things we want to talk about, guys. I want to start with Detty December.
Yeah.
I know towards the end of last year when we had our the last episode, we did talk a bit about corporate parties and what December was going to look like. But I don't know what you guys think. This December was wild.
Yeah.
And I was particularly shocked because of everything that we had been through last year. We had several shocks, exchange rate, massive exchange rate depreciation.
We didn't look like what we went through.
Increase,
No, we didn't.
like we're battered.
No, we
and
didn't.
then people still
All of a
found
sudden,
time to party really hard.
I didn't expect that.
And I'm like, that kind of says a lot about the potential of Nigeria as a country. And so I'm torn between, is Nigeria basically a tourist gold mine that we probably don't know that we're sitting on because of the sort of, excitement and fun, that comes with hanging out or partying in Nigeria, of course, with Afrobeats laced around it. Or is it just the fact that we have a very solid payment system that just allows people to easily convert their money, transfer money, pay? I mean, because sometimes some of us sort of underrate those things.
Yeah.
Or is it that we just have very nice or cheap apartments, cheap food, cheap drinks that just makes it affordable for our IJGBs to just come in and sort of. I really don't know, but what I do know was I just saw a potential that if this government is really serious, they can tap into. I mean, Detty December can basically be another. What's that one in Brazil again?
Okay.
Or the carnival, the real carnival.
Yeah,
the real
it can be that, because it kind of starts like from
it
December
can be that.
1st
It can be that.
till early January. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Well, for me also, there's Lagos and there's Nigeria. The question is, how did Nigeria fare? Nigeria ex-Lagos fare in this
It was
period?
wild
Oh,
everywhere.
yes, it was.
Yes.
It
I had
just
no
occurred
idea,
to me.
'cause I heard that
It just
Abuja was
went.
empty.
No.
This is what I heard.
Just FCC, but it was also fun in Abuja.
It's the thing,
Okay.
and I think they went with the culture in Lagos in Christmas. So
And it
you
just
get
spread
that
out.
Lagos is very packed till like 23rd, and then everybody goes to the village. And it happened the same way.
Okay,
so
so
it
everyone
was
lands in Lagos,
parked,
do what they need to do, and then
Lagos,
everyone sort of
Abuja,
goes-
and then it went to the villages.
Okay.
So the villages were really hot as well. So
okay.
you could find places like Abia, Port Harcourt.
Okay.
Everywhere had its own different vibe and feel. Lagos, of course, was the clubs and the Dorime and the rest,
Yeah.
but the village had the village vibe.
Yeah, there were
Because for me,
village.
all my people came to Lagos. So I had people from PH, Abuja, London.
I saw
Atlanta.
Ibadan,
We all
I
sort
saw
of came here.
Ekiti, I saw, and
okay.
the great thing about social media is it allows you to live people's lives through.
Yeah.
So I saw Ekiti, I saw
Yep, yep.
Ibadan.
You
I
basically
saw-
see everything on
you,
social media.
get, and
Exactly.
people that were like, we've come into Lagos, now we're going to the village, and then they're doing that road trip.
Yeah.
It was everything. So I think for me, it's a combination of so many things, but it was also the fact that our reputation as Nigerians
Party country.
had
hard-going,
spread
hard-going
across the
country.
world. So
So is it
started-
Afrobeats then?
Is it Afrobeat? It's a combination of so many things. It's the way we party. It's the way we are in the clubs. It's the way we spend money. So a lot of that went across the world, and a lot of Nigerians across the world became prouder to be Nigerian.
Yeah.
It kind of felt like, this is the Nigerian they're talking about. So they all wanted to come feel it, and they brought back people with them. So it was a lot. It was a lot. I loved it. I loved it.
And I kind of agree with you, Tunji, because especially where you said maybe because Nigerians like to party a lot. And if you look at everything that happened, so there were mega shows, Afrobeat themed shows. There were corporate parties. There were house parties. There were weddings. There were burials.
Yeah.
It was as if everything that had to happen was a huge celebration.
Everybody had a reason to do something.
Of course, yeah.
It was a lot of people even
You had somewhere
fixed
to go.
events for December. So there was you had choices like, which one do I go for? Do I go for this other one? Do I go for that?
Yeah.
And people were just spending. So I want to see the data because I am pretty sure our GDP numbers Q4
will be good.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Because even
And I also want to
my
see spending
small
data
estates,
too.
even my
Payment
small
data
estates,
was
like
busy.
because we had chat groups, somebody would just be like, "Hey, I
it's happening in my house,
just
so-
killed go to."
So there's also that festive feeling.
Yeah,
as well. People
so,
in a festive mood and
But
sharing mood and
let's go back
giving
to
mood.
how Ugo started.
Yeah.
The year didn't look like what December.
But also,
You couldn't project that.
Also, last year, the previous year, the 2023 looked like 2024 December.
No.
I don't think it did.
So the
I don't
funny
think
thing is
it
that Detty December started, I think 2018, I think that's when it really that sort of trend kind of started.
Yeah.
And then picked up right after COVID.
Okay.
Right. So 2023 was cool.
Okay.
Because I think 2023 was when people really now, looks like
Good.
a lot of stuff
people went
happens
back,
in
told
Nigeria in
stories.
December.
Yeah.
So the few guys that came went back and of course, explained to everyone
Publicized
on
it,
miso and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And then as the Naira got weaker, our IJGB guys were like, come on, really loading
everything
stuff.
came in.
And then guess what? The few guys who also came into town, right, earlier in the year, also went back with like, different.
The group is
Yeah.
different
But
and all that.
So
Also, something interesting as well is Ghana. There's a Ghana Nigeria thing because
Yes,
people have been doing that. I moved to Accra, or I'm coming from Accra. I'm from UK, Accra, to Lagos. And Detty December also started in Accra in 2019 with the year of the return.
I actually didn't know that.
With the year of the return.
Because I saw a Ghanaian saying
there was an
he
argument
stole
about who started it though. I mean, like,
Okay.
Nigerians say, no, it's our stuff.
Colonels,
400 years of
colonizer.
slave. And then it depends on who started it, but I know that Accra, Ghana, Nigeria, Lagos, there's a play there that we're missing, there's a trick there that we're missing that we can actually work
I think there will be
together.
synergy at some point. But finally, on this particular topic, what role do you think social media played in all of this, though?
Very huge. No,
huge.
so it started.
Huge,
it started
huge.
from like middle of the year, podcasts. The UK centric Nigerian podcast where they are talking about how Nigerians party. And the thing is that we take it for granted the way we party in Nigeria. We take it for granted.
We party hard.
We
man.
do. We don't. We see it like Tuesday, right? Like this Friday now. This is but people who come from across the world are like shocked to their marrow. Like when we're
It's a
doing
tourist
shots,
attraction in
when we are
itself.
doing shots in the UK, you guys are like by bottles. And for us, it's like, why are you doing shots? Like, do you know where the shots came from? No, open the bottle ourselves. So it's a thing, and I think that reputation went across the world, and it shocked the world, and people wanted to see it for real.
Yeah.
And then they came and they saw that not only is it real, these guys do it on a regular, and they do it from club to club. So this is the thing. I saw there's
Concert
this,
to
you know,
concert.
I wouldn't mention the name. There's this club on Ozumba. I'm seeing.
I'm scanning now.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I'm scanning like.
I'm seeing videos from where I am for the holidays. 7 a.m.
Oh yeah, another place.
8 a.m.
On Monday, or when I was going to work on Monday, that place was popping as at 8.
Oh wow.
8
Okay.
a.m. People
8
are
a.m.,
still
yeah.
coming out.
Interesting.
People are still coming out. They're still like, they're still dropping it till 8. I'm like,
Yeah.
whoa. You guys go home.
Yeah.
I mean, so bottom line is, I mean, Detty December has come to stay. For me, I think huge opportunities for government. We need to have all that infrastructure.
Okay.
I spoke to some, concert promoters and even record label owners, and they're like, man, you guys need major concert venues. We can do a lot more.
Yeah,
I mean, we can
I
attract
saw that missing.
major artists.
all
and
the,
then-
all the
that
apps,
myself.
all the
So
it's
apps
a
that
whole lot.
curate events across the country. This is your time to shine. I mean, all those apps that curate where the clubs are, where the
Yeah.
restaurants are. This is your time to shine. This is where you need to sell it to the diaspora,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
that is a great way for people to know what is happening. Because if I'm like, I'm at home and I'm thinking, I just came to Lagos, I don't know anybody in Lagos, where should I go to? And there's an app that tells me this club is happening right now. And there are apps like that. I've seen a couple, so
One last thing though, where do you think? Because now that you mentioned diaspora, I just remember this. I think there's this non-resident whatever account opening stuff.
Yeah.
Is that going to have any major impact in December?
Yeah.
Because I thought we were going to launch it in December. Maybe all these IDGBs would
So
probably
they
have
start
like.
putting money away.
Yeah. So is it gonna? I don't know. They said they want to launch it in January, but I
Yeah,
mean,
we should do that. We should do that.
is it
And,
going to be mega?
I think if they do it well, and think about it this way, right? Think about it this way. You can still put in discounts. You can tie it to a card, that you come back with, and this is your Detty December card. Call it whatever, but
Yeah.
it is the card that you come and you just from club to club. It gives you discounts.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot to build around this.
Big stuff.
Okay.
Good stuff. All right, over to you, bro.
I mean, after that to December, after we spent all our money, we have to figure out how to make the money. And for me, it's outlook.
Okay.
I'm back at work.
Economic
now.
outlook?
Economic outlook.
Okay.
Not that to December outlook.
Okay.
I mean, I'm back at work last week Thursday. After that to December, and the question is, where do I see Nigeria and the world going for the rest of the year?
Yeah.
Where is and with that, how do I protect myself? How do I make money? Right, and that's what's just been bugging me. You research, you look at the numbers. So I guess that's the topic for the next. Or that's going to be the next topic is
I
where
feel this.
what's everyone's inflation outlook, currency outlook. I know in our last conversation, or the last meeting, I said I was in doom and gloom mode.
Yeah,
saying we're all gonna die.
But it feels like things
know?
have lifted a bit, right?
Has it though, or is it just how spirits have been lifted?
Spirits has been lifted,
But I
I
mean,
think.
it's one thing I like about economics, and one thing I like about economics is our life is good follows bad, or bad good follows bad. When you have a huge moment of a period of decline in currency, you have current accounts surplus shooting up, which can also be positive for the currency.
Exactly.
So where I had a bit of a Naira is going to be at 3,000 by the end of this year outlook. I'm sort of rethinking and re-gauging my
Views on those
based
things,
on
right?
what
Yeah.
how I've seen H1, because the numbers just came out, right? How I've seen H1 current account surplus go to $8.5 billion. The full year might be 14 point something billion dollars. So numbers are looking good. So I've been wondering, am I changing my FX outlook? Do I see inflation? I mean, I think now inflation still stays high, but I think it moderates a little bit. For example, I think that maybe then that sort of changes my bond yield outlook as well.
Yeah.
And then equities, okay, what's going on there? I think that if inflation moderates a little bit from mid 30s to maybe early 30s, 30% for the rest of the year, which I think it probably does, averages out, then I have to change my
outlook.
bond outlook.
Yeah.
I have to now look at my equities outlook. I still think equities over bonds this year. I still think you have good upside. You have some good corporate actions coming in with some names. So I still like equities slightly better than bonds. I still prefer the short-term money market stuff. I still prefer T-bills. But I've seen some good corporate bonds come out. I'm not sure if you saw the Presco issue. So Presco is this palm oil company. They want to buy GOPDC. GOPDC, palm oil company, agri company. They want to buy GOPDC in Ghana. So they're trying to raise some money, about 100 billion naira. So just under 100 billion naira through a corporate bond at 23% for a 7-year bond, which I like. And for me, if you think
that's good yield,
it's really good yield.
Yeah.
It's really. I mean, okay, on the one hand, you can say the sovereign is Nigeria. 7-year is probably 22%. But if you think bond yields are going to come down, which I think they are,
that's a good place to.
Yeah,
it's a good place to.
You know, and over Presco on the shareholder on the stock side is also good. So my outlook is not as doom and gloom as it was before. It's still doom and gloom.
This is some Detty December effect, man.
Maybe it is. Maybe it is. Maybe it is. I don't know.
So what's yours? Inflation and exchange rate.
Two things. I think generally looking at inflation, I think it should start to taper out in Q2.
Okay.
Generally because of FX, starting to just
Stabilize.
stabilize. And one thing I generally believe that we've not appreciated for a while in Nigeria is a CBN that does what CBN should do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I understand.
They're not going outside of their remit. They are doing what they should do, and only that. It keeps
pure orthodoxy. No more unorthodoxy.
None of that voodoo we were seeing some years ago. And the thing for that does is it creates some level of stability for investors. You kind of know where we're headed.
Yeah.
I don't see any shocks in terms of currency volatility. I see a lot of people saying things like, we're going to come down to 1.3. I don't think so.
I still don't think that.
I don't think so. I generally believe, and this is why I say it's great to have a CBN that does what CBN does.
It's easy to predict.
You get, the previous regime will want to think, okay, now that we're stable, let's push it down. Let's do something. Let's go crazy. You don't see that from the CBN.
Yeah,
so
but also
I'm excited about that.
Sorry to call, but there's a huge downside. I think sometimes we forget there's a huge downside to having a naira strengthen so quickly. We love FPIs.
Yeah.
We love our foreign portfolio.
And that slows it down,
And a lot of FPIs now came in when naira was at 1.7,700 naira to the dollar. If these guys came in to buy OMO, we had the OMO bonds, 1-year bonds at 30% or so yield. These guys rushed in. If these guys go from 1.7 to 1.3, that's roughly another 30% they've made. And this is our love for FPIs or hot money, as some people call it. We'll get that huge exit.
Yeah.
Now, don't forget that these guys still prefer to be
outside,
which we had. They were supposed to be outside and inside.
We're like that outside
so
risk.
So we have to give them that sweet spot where it's like, you've gone from 1.7 to 1.5. Calm down.
And really, we've kind of gotten used to that 1.7, right? There's really no need.
I'm not used to it.
There's really no need to do anything crazy.
Yeah.
Plus, a 1.7 to I see this thing on the African continent where other Africans tend to want to say, "Oh, see how much we get when we come into your country." And I'm like, that is a huge opportunity for us to take advantage of because, money will come this way because of just that differential. But in terms of outlook, I think 2025 has a slightly better outlook than 2024 for me.
Yeah, okay.
I think it's a year to be bullish about some certain areas.
Yeah, okay.
There will be things that will open up in terms of just new frontiers, especially when it comes to technology.
Yeah, okay.
And again, stability. We've not had a stable year in a while.
In about a decade. So important that you mentioned that. I've been pouring through a number of data, even though I'm still waiting for a bit more data. We're expecting data from the MBS, inflation numbers this week. GDP numbers, perhaps maybe in a couple of weeks. capital importation numbers as well. So there's a number of macros that we're expecting to see, and that would really help determine where we go in terms of macroeconomic trajectory for 2020, 25. However, I agree with you guys on inflation tapering this year.
Yeah.
If for nothing, base effects.
Base effects,
Base
Gonna,
effects.
play a major role, because a lot of the triggers that we saw last year, it's not going to happen this year.
Yeah.
I don't see any major increase in or steep increase in fuel prices like it happened last year.
Yeah.
We also don't
Electricity as
expect
well.
to see, there could be electricity adjustments for the
And
band,
fuel prices, they
band
go
C, D, E,
Adjustments.
but yeah, it won't be
Yeah.
as much as it was for with fuel prices, and of course, also globally as well. I think energy prices is likely going to also stay a bit stable with Trump coming in. I think he has he wants that, and I think that's also going to happen. So if you look at from that angle, inflation rate would likely, like you said, I'll only say I think it might break that 30% floor, so we
you
could
think
probably
it goes
be
into
slightly
Yeah,
lower.
I think so too.
Okay.
I think
Of
so
course,
too.
a lot depends on how aggressively prices remain stable in the first half of the year. Remember as well that the second half of last year, we did see some tapering before the fuel price increase kind of pushed things up. Then for exchange rate, I kind of feel like we could, from the official market, we could oscillate between 1.417, under 1.7, oscillate. So does that 5% plus or minus appreciation, depreciation? The parallel
Well, for the rest
market,
of
you
the
would
year
always
until-
see that.
Okay.
You would always see that
I mean.
50 naira to 100 naira to 150 differential. Like I kind of think
So you're saying
that
1.7, 1.8.
yeah.
So we're about
so
1.6
bottom line is
something,
that So bottom line is that I think this would be one year for exchange rate stability.
Yeah.
And that's why last year, as far as I'm concerned, was a transition year for Nigeria.
Yeah.
This year is
pretty
basically, to me, a year of stability. So a lot of things are likely going to be stable from a macro point of view. Right? A lot of those macro triggers. And so my outlook is basically, Arnold, and coming back to how you started, I think that the earlier one takes a position this year, the better. I think so as well. And then I think that then for asset classes that are high, that have really attained significant appreciation, I think you've got to wait for the correction, because the correction is going to happen.
So correction for which one?
There's going to be correction for
Bond
U.S. equities. I think
Okay.
U.S. equities, there'll be correction on U.S. equities.
Okay.
I think there'll be correction for even our own local bond prices, like you mentioned. Bond yields, I
that's
think
gonna
at some
happen.
point to fall.
Yeah.
I think equities as well.
Local equities?
Our own local equities won't see as much correction as maybe you would expect. However, it probably won't be as aggressive as it was last year. But I think it will still be net positive. And it's going to be net positive because I think there's going to be a lot of capital raised this year. I was looking at MTN shares today, and I couldn't buy. So something's
there's a lot of
brewing,
liquidity,
right? So I think that
liquidity is an issue now.
FMCGs as well are likely going to see, share price increases. So the correction that is happening there is from a positive standpoint. These are sort of like, what I think is going to happen this year. And of course, you have the tax reforms and what it means for businesses. We can't say everything on this show.
That part
it's like going to be a year of stability.
But there's also some downside though to currency, which I think we're overlooking, is global effects of a strong US dollar. So if you look at the way this year started, the US dollar is just strengthening like crazy. The Brazilian real is
and China has said
lows.
they even want to devalue their own
all-time lows. The yen is hitting some lows, and don't forget the anticipation of the Trump effect is a stronger dollar. So and sometimes with markets, unfortunately, anticipation is stronger than. So regardless of what we've done, where we put mechanisms in place here, we have the matching system in our FX, and we have current accounts surplus through the roof, or highest it's been in 4 years, or since 2014 rather. I'm still expecting that we're going to, at least for the first quarter of this year, a stronger dollar environment. And we still haven't figured out what that means to us in terms of now, we might have sorted our issues out to a degree, but we're still prone to outside forces
volatility,
and
yeah.
what that means. And that's why I still think that.
So I think
we're
we'll still be around that 1.6, 1.5.
I still think we still
I don't
touch
think I
2000
don't
end of
see
the year.
1.4.
Yeah, but let's see.
I
I
don't
mean,
see 1.4
it's
at all. I don't see 1.4. But
okay.
I'm cool with. I'm cool with.
We can take
I'm
a bet
cool
on
with that.
whiskeys. Anyway, you're next, Tunji. What's on your mind?
All right, so I don't know which I
Politics?
should start with. So, and I think it's the one that
Ghana.
is more exciting on my mind. No, I want to talk about. So something happened going into the holiday. So for people who don't know, I said it earlier. We basically run a benefits platform for gig workers. And we were trying to see how we could make it more user-friendly for business owners so that we could take some of the work off their shoulders. So if you have a fleet of riders, for instance, how do you manage your rider is going from VI to Ikeja? And what does that mean in terms of petrol? What does that mean in terms of, insurance also on that trip? What does that mean in terms of the holistic management of that single ride? And we're saying, okay, let's involve AI, and my team is really excited about it. So they're going into it. Now, for people who don't also know, I'm not technical, so I don't know how to code. But because I don't want to be the dumb guy in the room, right? So I spent the holiday researching AI. And bro, I was blown away. I was blown away. I've been talking about ChatGPT, and honestly, ChatGPT, compared to some of the things out there right now, feels like Microsoft Word.
Well, I guess I'm still on Microsoft Word.
I am not even
I am still on
joking.
Microsoft Word. I am very on Microsoft.
I am not joking.
Oh my God.
We now have AI agents that can, take voice, interpret pictures,
Yes.
analyze
I've seen those.
spreadsheets.
Yeah.
I came across that on narrative.bi. You can put like a, because I was trying to, we're trying to just analyze the data from PenPay just to understand, who's paying more and everything. And, I just Googled and I put in the spreadsheet. We're talking about like 30,000 payments, right? And this thing, I just uploaded it.
Yeah.
And then it comes out and it gives me a graph, it gives me tables, it tells me this is the person paying the most, this is this, and it
Which
goes
AI is
through
that?
names, narrative.bi. And it's web browser. You don't have to do anything much.
Okay.
Now, that started to intrigue me, and I started to go in, and I've been hearing about AI agents. Right? So I said, what are AI agents?
Yeah.
Apparently, they are specific AI protocol that is designed to do basically whatever you want. You can, customize it to do everything. So think AI agents to do this. Arnold wants to go on holiday. But Arnold is thinking, where do I go to? Do I go to Dubai? Do I go to, an AI agent, you could just tell it, I have $10,000. I want first class. I want to do this. I want to do this. I want to do this. Find me the holiday, pay for it, sort it out. We have AI agents that sophisticated to do that level of madness.
That's nice. I actually like AI. I'm very pro AI. I think that I'm excited about what it means. Sorry.
The scary thing for me now is because I was digging into it. I found out a few things, right? So Google has, or at least most people will know Gemini. That's Google's version of ChatGPT. But Google now has something called Vertex AI.
Tunji's really researched this shit.
He really has.
Dude, man. I kind of feel you're trying to catch up online. You're Googling this stuff.
Vertex,
What is it called?
Vertex.
Because I was just checking now, like, what's this guy coming up with, bro?
Gemini compared to Gemini is like 5x what ChatGPT is. Because ChatGPT is you tell it what I want to know. This.
So, because I'm very loyal, I've always stuck to ChatGPT.
Bro,
I just
leave
don't
it.
wanna-
Leave it.
No, because-
ChatGPT is actually like 10 years behind.
No, let me tell you what it is. Let me tell you, you're probably not going into this, but I'm trying to upload my personality into ChatGPT so it knows what I like. It knows things about me. So Gemini can do the same thing. I have to start again.
No, the thing is that ChatGPT helps you because it's like level 1. So you understand the basics of how...
Even the paid ChatGPT, because I'm on 4.0 or 4.0
Bro,
full circle.
Trust me.
Okay. And Gemini is free?
Yes. So
Gemini
also
It's
can...
not free though, but I mean,
Gemini can also translate pictures. So you put in a complex picture, like you have a graph.
Yeah.
And you want it to translate it into something else.
Yeah.
You upload it, it will do it.
But you know, with ChatGPT has this new feature that came out a few days ago that if I have the camera on, it can give me a live interpretation of what's going on around.
Try
live
Gemini.
while the cameras on.
I was going to say
just
this,
launched
right?
it a couple of days ago.
Google was excited about Gemini because that really bit ChatGPT.
Okay.
But then they came through with Vertex AI. And Vertex AI is like 50x what Gemini is. Because Vertex AI, I'm listening to the Google executive talk about Vertex, and you can almost feel she's uncomfortable. Like, what did we just create, right?
Wow.
And they're saying they're trying to restrict it right now to your Chrome browser. They feel it's too powerful to put in an app now, so it's just your Chrome browser. Let me tell you how it does, right? You know the way you would use your cursor on your laptop, right? Mm-hmm. You're clicking on this, right? So you go to the Vertex, the sidebar, and you tell it just the same holiday thing I said, right? Mm-hmm. You could see it moving the cursor and clicking.
For you.
I'm telling you, you're watching it live, doing all that you asked it to do, and it's reading the screen as it's going. So it's not like it's just taking it's taking what you said. It's now learning from the internet also. It's going to browse more stuff, adding it to what you've just said, and it's giving you better. I'm telling you, I am terrified.
I think that, sorry to bump you there. I think, there's a whole lot of talk around AI, and I've been to a lot of AI, conferences and watched a lot. And I think the conversation has always been, what does this really mean for businesses? Is this just all about automating things? How's it going to save money for us? How's it going to make us more productive? I think that conversation is still there. And that's why
but I think
at some point people feel like maybe this year, this is the year of AI, whether AI actually lives up to its billing.
So guys, I want to say something. I was going to say City of Lagos. So there's something that Ugodre and I spoke about in 2014. It's weird. I thought about it as I was coming here. Ugodre told it was, we're talking, and he the way he talks, right?
Yeah.
He was like, that podcast, they're the future. This radio thing is going to be the past. I looked at him, I was like, come on, guy. And this was when radio was huge. It was larger than life in Lagos, as in, it was massive. Everybody was going to work. Their radios were on, everybody was listening to radio. And I was thinking, nah, podcasts, you mean people are going to listen to people, record themselves and then put it on the internet.
Yeah.
10 years down the line, we're on a podcast.
And
but here's what I'm saying about AI, and we didn't get into AI agents, but AI isn't so much of going to replace people. It's basically going to be a super work tool that is going to make everything super easy. So, for instance, and this is one of the things that fascinated me the most, I wouldn't need to learn how to code anymore.
Yeah.
You're sounding like you just got into AI, but these things are not new. Like everything you said here now, they've basically been available since last year.
I'm saying that.
Exactly.
So the thing is, like, why is it so mainstream?
No, so the thing is that it's, I don't know. So how do you implement things like this at scale? You got to think about this from the point of view of an organization that has 10,000 employees or produces a million products. And for example, Apple just integrated ChatGPT into iPhone,
Yeah.
right?
iPhone,
To
yeah.
Siri and all
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So you have it on your phone, and so you're asking yourself, and that's the conversation. Like, what exactly is beyond just do this for me, do that for
Yeah.
me?
Yeah.
Do you actually
The
use it
skill
for? So
implementation.
So that's
the
right.
skill
So
implementation
that
is
just
you.
starting.
Yeah.
Right. And
Yeah.
I agree with you on all counts. Once we're able to figure that out, I think that the world will be a better place. Today, you can use ChatGPT. You can actually go to a meeting, put ChatGPT on record, take the voice notes of that
Yeah.
meeting, and have it essentially break it down for
Summarize
you. You
it
can
for
do
you,
that.
definitely.
You can use
Yes.
Copilot.
And the
you
thing
can
is, you-
integrate Copilot into a PDF. Let me give you an
yes.
example. I tried something. I uploaded the 2025 budget, the entire document on Copilot.
And summarize it
And
for
I
you.
said, break
Yes.
this thing down for
Yes.
me.
Yes.
It did its best. I put the same thing on ChatGPT, summarized, and within 5 minutes, it essentially broke it down for me.
Yes.
And I said, okay, and I started querying. So for things like that,
Try narrative.
yeah,
Yes.
you
And
could
the
do
thing is-
there's a lot more.
Try
There's
narrative.
one I
And
also
that's-
heard,
and that's
there's
the
one I
good
also
thing.
heard about that schools use, that people use in schools.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it's called.
And that's the good
so
thing
there are
about
so many of them.
AI.
like
And
that.
you've summarized it there, right? It increases productivity. Even
Yeah,
me,
it-
I'm used to
it-
reading
it's
tons and
100
tons of
X's.
research. When I started off as an analyst, my first boss said to me, "Arnold, the office is a library."
Yeah.
Because we had to read tons of research on my desk. Everyone's desk, we had papers and books and
But now
and
AI can do all that
And
for
now
you.
AI just summarizes it for you.
You know, customer
And I-
service. This is the crazy
Okay.
part.
Yeah.
Customer service. An AI agent not only receives the call, it responds.
Well, there's
Sets a
a
meeting.
jury out on that though. But I mean,
Sets a meeting. Sets
Well,
it
some
up.
guys behind.
No,
not that.
guys behind
It's
it.
how
it's not as efficient
it's still
as you would
growing
like
because
it
it's
to
not
be.
very
Yes.
intuitive yet,
Not
right?
yet,
Because I
yeah.
use a lot of that stuff.
Okay.
Just doesn't intuitive. We gotta go to the next.
Oh,
story.
oh gosh, we haven't even gotten into this.
Yeah, we've never
so-
gone into AI
yeah,
agents
no
yet,
problem.
but I think the thing for me about it really is not so much that AI agents or AI as a thing is going to replace businesses, but what I see in this year is that businesses that use AI will outperform businesses that don't.
100%.
For sure.
And I know I always talk about this. Sorry to go on as I look at what computers did to US
Yeah,
business
exactly.
productivity. 1994 to 2004, productivity went up by 1% each year. Compared to the previous 10 years, it was 0.5%. Literally doubled productivity. And I really think that's what AI is going to do. So in that sense, is for me, there's no need to be afraid of it.
Turnaround
It's
time,
more,
yeah.
Let's figure out how we can adapt it, use it to...
I mean, we're
who knows?
we're closer to the grave than where we were born. So chances that AI
AI
will
will be-
become aware and take
Yeah.
over the world
Yeah.
is a thing the children will have to worry about.
Another prediction, by the way. So maybe by the 10th episode of Drinks and Mics,
AI will replace
AI
us.
will replace us. Anyway, so
And then we can actually drink whiskey.
next on my radar is Ghana.
Yes.
Ghana, and of course the US as well. We're expecting Trump soon. So Ghana has a new president.
Yeah.
Still finding it difficult to pronounce that guy's name.
John
Mahama.
Mahama,
John
yes,
Mahama.
John
He used to
Mahama.
be the president before, I think.
Yes, he was.
He left in 2017 for Ado, and then Ado is now, basically also living for him.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you watched the swearing inauguration yesterday. I did watch it, and I also read his speech, which I thought was kind of interesting.
Mm-hmm.
A number of things for me. One was I liked the attire that he put on, and I think there was a lot of emphasis on Ghanaian culture and tourism and all that in the entire. So I think it was a very good spectacle for Ghana itself, because I mean people were watching globally, so I like that. But in terms of his
Economic outlook.
his speech from economic point of view, kind of also looks like he's going to do a lot of what Ado also is doing, because he's kind of inheriting an economy that is in recovery mode. Right? It's still a mess, but it's in recovery mode. So, for example, they sorted out their debt issue to a large extent.
Okay.
Not completely, but to a large extent. Inflation rate is tapering as much. GDP growth, I think they did 7% or
Currency
so.
seems Q3 as well.
Currency seems to be kind of stable. So, I mean, he's coming in at a good time, right? It's not like Tinubu who came in when things were like south, right? So, I think he's taking the reins at a better, the better state.
Yeah.
Now, but one thing that interests me the most, though, was that 24/7 economy that Ghana wants to introduce. So he's basically saying that, and it was his campaign mantra. So from now on, public services in Ghana, ministries and all MDAs are going to work 24/7.
Yeah.
No close down. So imagine going to Ministry of Works at 9 p.m. and there's somebody working 2G, or you go to SEC,
you're working in
at
shifts,
10, and there's somebody working. So to him, it feels like that is going to boost productivity like crazy. And so.
Or it could make it worse.
I don't know. So that's what I'm picking up here.
Because
that was the key thing that I picked it.
Why you do it? If you are efficient, you don't have to run around the clock, do you?
He said he won't. Look, it's not about efficiency for him. No,
that's a good way of
it's not about efficiency for
it.
him. It's about productivity and jobs. So he says, look, that Ghana is essentially open to the world. The Ghanaian economy is going to be open. It's going to be more productive. It's going to be business friendly.
Is he going to increase salaries?
So I kind of think that things like this come with cost.
Yeah, they do.
Right. So I don't want to look at the cost
that's
element.
That's a good question.
Of course, it always comes.
Because the country can't afford to spend anymore.
Hospitals run 24/7 in it.
Yes, they do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So they run 24/7, and they also run shift. So it's basically shift work.
Just hiring more people is what you're saying.
Yeah. So he's going to hire more people, which to his point
the labor force.
Yeah, but how's he going to pay for it? That's what I don't know.
So for me, I know that he's been talking a lot more about one of the ways is renegotiating that with the IMF. So he wants to free up more cash because Ghana started paying off local debts, local coupons. In the first local coupon, because they also defaulted on the local debts as well as the external debts. Yeah. So they started started paying off coupons. I think at some point last quarter, there's another payment due in February. So they want to renegotiate to a degree, also the IMF stuff, to free up cash for this. I want to see how that works. I heard somewhere the IMF are willing to renegotiate. So let's see if that works for them, and then he might free up more cash to pay. I'm just
curious where the dreamers in Africa are right now, because it's. I shared a video with you guys on the group, right, on some global, huge tasks or huge projects that people are doing across the world.
Okay.
I mean, look at the one in Europe where they're trying to connect all the cities, train and waterways. That is huge.
Around, yes. Saudi Arabia.
You see, the thing about it is that is not a fantasy project, because it's going to boost productivity. It's going to make sure that people can actually live connected in Europe, and for whatever it is worth, anybody that wants to back that kind of project sees the long-term gain of making money off it. I just feel we need to actually conceptualize things like that to boost the economy of our regions. Because the truth about it is that, look at Ghana. Ghana had hype around 2014, 2015. There was a lot of talk. It looked like the economy was really moving in a good direction. That hype seems to have cooled. Maybe
it has
cooled, right?
Cooled, yes.
So you need something to excite the world. This is, I get what he's talking about, paying the debt, renegotiating, that's good, right? So you are coming to steady the ship.
Yeah. But one thing Ghana has successfully done in terms of hype, though, is this year of return thing has really pushed it. So it's given a lot of African-American citizenships.
Yeah,
so
when they came back
African
and
origin, rather, not just African-American, but Caribbean.
You can move back.
They really, and I think this year, or this December, they gave, I'm not sure what the number is anymore now, but they gave out a lot of citizenship. So they really pushed the come back home.
Yeah.
narrative is, even though we over here also have our own slave castles, which we haven't used properly.
But you lived in Accra for a while, right?
Yeah, I lived in Accra
a
for a while.
A lot
yes.
of those people that did come back home are really coming back home to retire. Have you not noticed? If you see them on the streets of Accra, they usually retire members like
businesses.
relax.
No, there's some businesses.
So long as they're coming with their
There's
money.
some small and medium-sized guys who have opened. There's barbershops. Guys have opened barbershops. Guys have opened bigger businesses as well. So yes, there are retirees or guys who want to retire, but I also add that there are guys who come back to set businesses up, set charities up, and they're actually doing stuff. It's actually impressive. It's really impressive.
So Arnold, with Mahama in, are you optimistic for Ghana? Next 4 years, will you be investing in Ghana?
Be honest. Be honest.
It's always hard to make money in a place in an asset class or geography or strategy that you've lost money in. I'll say that. That's the best way to put it. But no. But I think, listen, I'm wait and see approach. Let's see what happens. Like Ghana the trajectory of Ghana was always turning around, like you said, inflation under control, currency looked interesting again, but Ghana's still going through the motion of coming out of where it was. There are opportunities there, and sometimes when there's blood in the streets, it's time to invest, and all that narrative. It's a place that I'm looking at again. The phone calls have started again. I'm asking people what's going on there. What's happening in this sector? What's happening in that sector? What are the bond prices saying? Or what industry is looking good? I mean, assets are still cheap to the point that we talked about Presco coming in and buying GOPDC, Ghana Oil Palm Production Company. So there's opportunity, and if the price is right,
and the assets seem to be getting cheaper.
What about you? Right, 24/7 economy. If you is that an incentive for you to maybe want to set up shop in Ghana?
So there's only one thing that will make me set up shop in Ghana, and that is if I'm able to buy, or at least we are able to buy PFA. They have 3 tiers.
I can give you some PFAs for sale.
Yeah, I know. There's one.
This guy's closing deals.
I can show you some.
There's one particularly that I have my eye on.
Right.
Not just generally because they're a PFA, but they have built a brand which is so it's the brand equity of the business.
Yeah.
Also with the reach, they do a lot similar to what we do, and I'd like to look at it. But the great thing about their PFAs, their pension system there, which betters Nigeria, is that it's a 3-tier system, while Nigeria is a one-size-fits-all.
Yes.
So it allows smaller guys to be able to operate and do some fantastic work. So that excites me for Ghana. So even if the economy was going to hell and I got the opportunity to buy that PFA, I would buy it.
But saying that, I actually have a PFA that you can talk to.
Please,
I have a PFA. You can talk
All right. Finally, for you, Arnold, crypto.
Oh, crypto. My thing about crypto is something I want to actually bring to the floor is should we be in crypto more than we are?
Yeah.
Right. I think that
Yeah.
Should we be in crypto more than we are? Is crypto an asset class or currency? How should we
guys,
how? Because
I'm the worst person over the last 10 years to talk about crypto with.
Okay.
I've been so anti-crypto.
Okay.
Exactly. That's why I'm surprised.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
really?
it's
Interesting. Because I've been anti-crypto as well, and lately I'm changing. And also not just crypto, but I'm looking at other ways that, and I'm not sure whether this conversation falls on the crypto, but there's something that's been on my mind lately, which is tokenization. But tokenization in the sense of looking at what we have here in our equity markets and bond markets, and if that can provide leverage, right? Because the idea of tokenization is you take a piece of paper and you divide everything into little bits.
Exactly.
In the UK and in South Africa, fractional investing.
Yeah.
In the UK and in South Africa and other parts of some countries, there's something called CFDs, which is contracts for difference. A contract for difference for stock is pretty much the same thing, but a contract for difference allows you to mimic the full price movement of a stock while owning
just a little part of it.
So we could provide it come as leverage. So I have 0.1% of Barclays, but if Barclays moves 1 point,
I get this 0 point moves whatever.
So I've been looking at stocks in that token. I've been looking at tokenization of stocks in that leverage aspect, not just me owning a fraction of the price movement of GTCO, but owning, getting the full benefits of a 1 naira move of GTCO from a 5 kobo hold of GTCO.
Yeah.
I know we
That's futuristic, man. Like,
no, but it's actually here now, and that's
where
why
here. Where is here?
Crypto,
it could be here
crypto
now.
has.
Let me say that
Crypto has this capabilities.
Okay, so that's the conversation.
Crypto allows you to do
leverage.
so. For instance, you can.
I know, but are you guys talking about the use case of crypto, or you're talking about?
No, so he's talking about everything.
I'm talking about everything. So, but tokenization. Okay, crypto as an asset class, which in my head is tokenization, and can tokenization be used as a leveraging tool?
Yes.
Right. So, GTCO is 57 naira per stock. Mm-hmm. I don't have 57 naira. Mm-hmm. I have 1 kobo. If you can make GTCO into different tokens of 1 kobo, and I hold 1
moves
kobo,
up 10%. I earn 10% of my 1 kobo.
But I don't
you understand?
That exists already, though, because if you wanted to buy
ETFs,
no, even Google shares or Tesla shares that are like $300. People with $10 buy those shares. You just own a fraction.
No, he's talking about.
So I'm talking about here.
I know. So my point is that I don't think you need crypto to solve that problem. That's what I'm saying here. Yeah. It exists already. It's just that it doesn't exist here. Yes. Fractional shares. However, what I do know people use crypto for to solve that's similar to this. Movement. Not necessarily that is unitization of maybe real estate, especially asset classes that you can't, that are sort of bulk. For example, imagine real estate, and then you have a building that is worth $10 million, and you want to sort of fractionalize it, and you want people to own it, and so you can just like split them into units, and then have some kind of token back it up and put it on a blockchain. So that is a use case that has been evolving for years, but hasn't really gone mainstream.
So that's the conversation I'm having now.
I'm interested to see how that pans out. So that's your point. But for me, I think beyond crypto use cases as an investment, Bitcoin at over $100,000. I think
is it back to over 100?
Yeah, it went above $100,000 yesterday. Bitcoin yesterday is like 10 years ago.
It's like 10 years ago.
Big Bitcoin. So as of yesterday was I think over $100,000, and expectation is that it could go slightly higher by the time Trump comes in. But I don't know. I'm not sure about how Bitcoin ends up this year, because I think it's gained massively since last year. Where my focus is actually altcoins, and so those are alternatives to Bitcoins, and because they haven't really risen as much as Bitcoin. So from an investment point of view, that would always be where I would go to. And to buttress your point, I think the sort of altcoins that might be appetizing from an investment point of view are the ones that had very solid use cases. Like
exactly, which is where I was going to. So the utility of the coin in itself is one thing that really appeals to me. So one of the reasons why I've been against crypto is generally around the real world case uses of this thing. So outside your bubble of all of us are crypto bros, what does it actually do in the real world?
Yeah.
I saw people forcing utility back in the day. Somebody saying I use it to buy pizza, and I'm like, come on, talk to me. Yeah. But over the last 3 years, and it took a while, it was gradual convincing. Mm-hmm. Over the last 3 years, I've been seeing its utility a lot more, and it's gradually won me over.
So, like, what are you seeing? And also, while you're answering that, whatever happens to the e-naira?
No, leave that.
e-naira is still there.
So, is it still there? Because that's one of the.
So the problems I see with
CBDCs.
Oh, let's not get distracted about the e-naira.
Okay, because you're talking about uses and utilization, right? So I'm thinking.
So it was a good idea, but it should have never been owned by the CBN.
Yeah.
Oh, you're down back to CBDCs.
Yeah.
CBDCs, because I don't want to just stick this on INR alone. I think
Yeah.
a lot of countries have launched CBDCs and hasn't really caught on as much as we can. And I think it's also because electronic transfer of money is doing almost the same thing that
as
CBDCs
CBDCs are doing.
done.
So there's really no real
so that's why
utility.
there are use cases, but I think we're not there yet as globally. Now for crypto use cases, look, guys, Bitcoin won't have a use case. Bitcoin is essentially a store of value.
Okay.
The sooner people see Bitcoin
Accept it for that,
accept it as a store of value, the better for you.
And I don't think it was designed for that purpose.
It wasn't.
But
It
has
well,
now
it
become.
was,
It
but
has
that
now
wasn't the main
become.
thing.
Yeah, it has now become that store of value.
That's
because
really what it is.
It's difficult now, especially because of the price per coin.
Yeah.
It's now become difficult for you to use it to do anything else than keep value.
Okay.
So it just feels like somebody that has 1,000 gold bars in their house.
Exactly.
I can actually pay you with those gold bars, but it just doesn't make sense.
It's
just
store value,
so it's
It's a pure store value.
Exactly. So
That's
really,
what it is.
but there are smaller crypto assets that just have that utility in terms of not just purchase, but
Like which one?
so I'm trying not to name names, but there's one particular one that I've been paying attention to. It has an X in the name, and really it's really around you do certain activities to get paid for it. I'm trying not to get before somebody says Tunji gave me advice. I did not give you advice. You get paid to use it. It's 3 digits if you are Googling it.
I wasn't.
Trying to just name it down because I'm curious. I'm bugging my brain.
So that one I've seen it used more around creatives.
Okay.
Well,
you get paid.
You get paid in it. You get paid in it, and also just doing the activity earns it on its own as I getting paid. So there's a lot of utility around it,
Doing
which
the activity
excites
gets you
me.
paid. Is it like one of those?
Because
Is
if I
it one of those
explain it
pay
like
to
that,
play?
Guys, you gotta go.
Okay, sorry.
You gotta go. I mean, this has been Drinks and Mics, and I've had here with me Tunji and Arnold, co-host. We do this every week, in case there's anything you want us to talk about, just do let us know. I mean, focus here is on the economy
we also
in
said we're
general.
going to bring in guests. There's one that keeps popping.
There's going to
up.
be a lot happening.
There's
this
one
year.
that keeps popping up in my mind, and I'm just putting it out there. He's an Egmoish kind of person, and you talk about his area a lot, so it might just be great to bring him in. I just don't know if it would be great with the drinks. Is NGX?
Okay.
Okay.
The new CEO. It would be great to bring him and
it
to
would be
come
great
and
to
talk
have him
about.
here.
Okay.
Yeah. We get to. I mean, there's gonna be a lot this year. Guys, for Drinks and Mics, we're gonna have a lot of guests on, as Tunji had mentioned. Policymakers, we're gonna have them on. So it's not just always gonna be 3 of us. People with investment experience are gonna come on here and share a lot of nuggets for us. We're also gonna have foreign investors, politicians, if possible. Purely
to tell
kind of
us
show
why
that-
they don't have sense.
Policymakers.
I did not see that one.
Policymakers, more like
So more like policymakers.
Policymakers,
No
nice.
politicians.
All right,
Guys,
we heard
hold
the
us to it. No politicians.
No politicians,
No
policymakers. You're gonna have them all here. Entrepreneurs as well. You're gonna have them all here
Yeah.
on Drinks and Mics in general. All right, so that is Drinks and Mics for today. And until we do this again, do have a profitable week ahead. Cheers, guys.
Boom.